My cat is immediately going to join me. Okay.
Hi, Salem. Sit down, buddy.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. My name is Liz, and thanks for watching my channel, Earth Art Balance, where I talk about living a creative, balanced, and sustainable life while managing a chronic illness. And today, I'm going to talk about some of the strategies that I've discovered over the years that help me manage my chronic illness. So let's just get into it, and hopefully you won't mind that Salem has joined me for this conversation with you.
Right, buddy? Yeah.
I think it's first important to add the disclaimer that these strategies may not work for everyone. They happen to work for me, but that doesn't necessarily mean they'll work for you. And I also want to share these strategies because I think they are strategies that can help anyone in their life's journey. So with that disclaimer aside, I also want to get a little bit into my story and my background because I realized I haven't yet shared it completely with you on this channel. About 6 years ago, around 2013, I got really, really sick. And I mean really sick. And I never fully recovered. And it took several years later, not until like 2015 or 2016, when I actually got a diagnosis with a label. And that was after seeing countless doctors. I don't think this is atypical for people who suffer from ME, CFS, and fibromyalgia. I think it's kind of the standard way we get diagnosed. It takes a ton of doctors and a lot of time. But in any case, that's a little bit about my background. So I have had about 6 years of trial and error of figuring out what works for me and what makes my life a little bit better by implementing some different strategies. So let's get to the strategies. The first strategy I want to share with you is nothing new. People have been doing this for centuries, and it is mindfulness. Mindfulness for me has been kind of the essential building block, the essential tool I have used to identify other areas or aspects of my life that I could incorporate changes that would make my life easier and more manageable as someone with a chronic illness. Mindfulness comes in a lot of different kind of variations, but for me, it started with waking up in the morning and asking myself, how do I feel today? What is the most kind of pronounced symptom I'm dealing with, and how can I manage that symptom to ease it a little bit so I can get through my day? So mindfulness for me was about recognizing what's going on in my body, but also recognizing how the world around me is affecting me and how maybe the world around me might be interpreting me. So that mindfulness kind of strategy has been really always asking myself, what is going on internally, what is going on externally, and what could I do from the information I have to make my life a little bit easier and a little bit more manageable. If you want me to get into more of kind of like my common daily practices of mindfulness, I'd love to do a video about that if people are interested. Definitely leave a comment down below to let me know, and I'll get into some of my mindfulness practices that have really helped me. So the second one that came from kind of this journey of mindfulness, of asking me, what isn't working for me? What can I change that would make my life a little bit easier or better? And that was, I started diving into minimalism. Minimalism has changed my life for the better. And there are many, many ways that you can incorporate minimalism into your life. And when I talk about minimalism, I'm talking about the principles of really loving and using what you have and what you actually need and not having a ton of excess. For me, I found that excess has meant more stress and more work, and that for me is not an option because stress and more work creates a drain on my system and I already have limited energy. So for me, I began implementing minimalist principles by starting with my wardrobe. For me, it was one of those places where it wasn't gonna affect really anybody else. I could tackle my own wardrobe without impacting the rest of my family. So I started my minimalist journey with just my wardrobe, and it expanded from there. If you're interested in learning more about that, I'd love to do a video about that too. Definitely let me know in the comments down below, and maybe I'll make a video about it. So in addition to kind of minimalism and mindfulness practices, I've also incorporated a sleep routine into my life, and this has been vitally important to basically encourage my body to get the rest that it really needs. Now, if you're like me and you're managing a chronic illness, you might find that you need more rest than the average person. And I mean like 10 hours at a minimum. Yeah, imagine sleeping 10 hours of your day every day. That means you only got 14 to do everything you gotta do. It's kind of difficult. So for me, a sleep routine has been really important because it impacts the quality of sleep that I get. And so for me, that means reading before bed, and not eliminating screen time and all of those things that kind of get in the way of me getting a restful night's sleep. So a sleep routine is something that I've utilized, and it has helped me immensely just kind of create a space where my body relaxes and I'm able to get more deep rest, which is vitally important for managing my symptoms. Because when I can get rest, and I think a lot of people with chronic illnesses will feel the same way, and even without chronic illnesses, when you're tired, life is so much harder. You want to get rest so that when you have to tackle your day the next day, you are ready and willing to do so. My cat just flopped. One of the final things I want to talk about that I've incorporated into my life, and this is a very recent practice that I've incorporated, and it is intuitive eating. And I'm not entirely sure what the technical definition of intuitive eating is, so I'm going to share with you what I feel like it is. So for me, intuitive eating is about listening to my body. Again, there's the mindfulness. Listening to my body and saying, okay, what is my body asking for? Am I thirsty? Am I hungry? Am I craving salt? Am I craving fruit? Am I craving fat? Am I craving protein? What is going on in my bodily systems right now? And what is it asking for so that I can give it the proper nourishment? This has been a very difficult journey. It is very difficult to kind of discern what your body is asking for, because we all have those, like, I love salt and I love sugar and I love fat cravings, but this is an even more kind of like specific level. The way I approach this is, it started off by literally sniffing foods. When I was hungry and I couldn't figure out what to eat, and I had the opportunity because I was at home to kind of explore what my body was craving, I would sniff foods that we either had left over or spices, and kind of get a sense of, ooh, what is my body yearning towards? And over the past 6 months, I've really been able to begin to discern, my body is asking for protein right now. My body is asking for something sweet right now. My body is asking for a whole lot of vegetables. I need vegetables. And so it's kind of crazy that happens, but when you get back to it, think about when you were a kid and you didn't even think necessarily about eating, and you just kind of ate intuitively. You're like, oh, you're hungry. Oh yeah, PB&J sounds great. Or, oh, I'm hungry. Can I have some Cheez-Its? Or, oh, I'm hungry. Can I have an apple? I think to some extent, when we're children, we're a little bit more in tune with what our body is asking for. So I'm still moving along on that journey. I have found this incredibly helpful. The tough part that I have not solved yet is I don't really always have the option or the luxury of listening to my body and what it is asking for. Sometimes I only have the leftovers that are available and I'm too tired to cook something else. So that's what it's going to get. But I have discovered that for those kind of big level macronutrients, like needing protein or needing carbohydrates or needing, minerals and fresh fruits and vegetables, I'm pretty good at figuring out what my body is asking for on that kind of larger, higher level. So those are sort of 4 strategies over the course of these past 6 years that I've begun to incorporate in my life. And I have many others that I've kind of incorporated, but these are 4 kind of the larger ones that I think have impacted my life significantly and improved my ability to manage my chronic illness. Now, that being said, I still have really bad days, and no amount of strategies are going to help me manage my chronic illness away. So I think it's really important to say that. These are strategies that simply improve my quality of life. They don't get rid of the underlying condition that I'm dealing with. They just make life a little bit easier. And I also want to say that they take time and energy to introduce and turn into habits. So these strategies that when I started them, I really had to think about it and practice it. Now they're a little bit more intuitive and they're a little bit more incorporated into my life that I don't even really think about them. And I've really taken many years to incorporate them. Now that's not to say that you can't incorporate them more quickly than that, and maybe you can with the help of this video, but I just really wanted to share some of these things because I know that these are strategies that have helped me, and I hope that they can help you too. So in any case, thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, or if you'd like to see any more information on some of these topics. I'd love to share in more detail if that's of interest to people. And of course, remember, take care, and it's about the journey. Thanks so much. By the way, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you actually get notified when I upload a new video. Thanks again. Have a great day. Bye.